All right, well, welcome. Welcome to the Digital Pedagogy Lab, which I'm looking forward to kind of like having a chance to talk maybe down the road, talking to you all more about.
Sure.
But ultimately what's happening with this group is we're talking about play, and we're really trying to dive into the different ways that we can think about play in education from anywhere from, pre-K all the way through college. And I'm really excited to get a chance for you all to talk about kind of one of the aspects of play that we're talking about, this idea of iteration and how that connects. And I think that all the amazing work that you do up in St. Vrain Valley School District connects deeply to this idea. So maybe to get started, if you both could introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about what your role is, and then we'll dive right into some questions. Thanks.
Sure. My name is Kristen Brome. I am the STEM program manager at the Innovation Center. My background is in elementary education, primary. So I was a primary or kindergarten teacher for a long time. And then I became a STEM coordinator with the district, and now I'm the STEM program manager for our district. And so what that really means is that I help to diffuse innovation into the different elementary and middle schools in our district, so that as they move into high school, they have the skill set that they need to do the types of STEM work that we're looking to have kids be able to, I guess, really manage in terms of going into industry. We want them to be able to take their skill set and move straight into industry and work with industry while they're still in high school.
Thank you. Welcome.
And I'm Nicole Rudman, and I am currently the next, so it's a new title, so excuse me as I stumble over it, but it's Next Gen Pathways of Teaching at St. Vrain. And so that is a new program where we are partnering with CU Denver and Front Range Community College to have our St. Vrain graduates. So our freshmen graduates that just graduated from St. Vrain in P-Teach attend university with while working as paraprofessionals in early childhood. So they get real life experience in the classrooms, and they really know all about education and can connect their learning at CU Denver to what's really happening in the classrooms, and they have mentor teachers. And my background, just before this, I was, so I started off as an early childhood teacher in St. Vrain, and then became a STEM coordinator for the district as well. And so have just started this role.
Well, thanks so much. Nice to get a chance to chat with you both. And so I guess actually the question that you all mentioned to me, I think is a really good way to start, because when we're talking about iteration, the major focus I think that we're going to talk about is this idea of design thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd love to hear how you all define design thinking in your school district.
Sure. So we define design thinking through several different elements. I would say the first one is really human-centered design. And so the design process is really about people first. As we go through and iterate and design, we're looking at changing products or processes or programs, but ultimately we're doing this for the individual or for a group. And so we use design thinking really to create a better or faster, more efficient, or maybe even just a more supportive solution for a person or a group of people, always keeping their needs at the center. And so design is really about you, the user, and not me, the designer. So that's kind of our first and primary element with design thinking. Nicole?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Well, add on to that, I would say, we really are looking to be problem seekers and problem solvers. And so often as we're going through design thinking, we find that the original question that we started off with, or even the problem that we were investigating, needs to be refined. And so as we dive deeper into the empathy with the user, we end up identifying new issues and new needs, and eventually and hopefully get to the root cause of the need. A person may initially feel as though they need one thing, but really upon deeper inquiry and further empathy gathering into the problem, we discover additional unexpected factors that could impact the primary issue that the user is experiencing. So we really have to just be open to that change as we move through this process. And so with that, because we are really fostering this problem seeking and problem solver, we really want to foster change agents for our community. And whether that community is a community of students, a community within a classroom or a building, whatever that community really means to you. And then, we really want people to believe that you don't have to embrace this huge concept of changing the world to be a change agent. It's really that change is something that's authentic and relevant to your environment. So one or two people can make a change that's really significant to them, and that can often be quite small. And then, with design thinking, we continue to iterate or prototype that change in small, rapid cycles to continually improve. And this ultimately creates a ripple effect of change. It'll look different for everyone, and we make these changes our own. We call this the diffusion of innovation in St. Vrain. And so as a result, we do end up changing the world, but in a more lasting and meaningful way, and one small step at a time. And this leads to our final, I'd say, way we describe design thinking, that's collective efficacy. Collective efficacy, for our elementary students, developed through programs that we've created in St. Vrain, including the Innovation Academy, our preschool makerspace, our Longmont Past, Present, and Future field trip in partnership with the Longmont Museum. And at the secondary level, students are working in many ways to develop collective efficacy through the P-Teach and P-Tech programs in St. Vrain, where students engage in authentic work experiences in the education and technology industries, working with professionals in the field to create solutions for a myriad of different situations.
And then in addition, with our secondary students, Dennis, they also have the opportunity to contract with industry partners to create projects and processes that are solving authentic needs in our community. And we don't just focus on local industry, we also work with companies that are either national or international as well. And so I think collective efficacy is really important. And as we work together, we really begin to realize the power we have to facilitate change. And I'm going to quote John Hattie here. His research indicates that collective teacher efficacy, or as he describes it, a collective belief of teachers and their ability to positively affect students, is really the #1 factor in student achievement. And so we see this to be true in so many ways in St. Vrain. Nicole talked a lot about our students, but we see the value with working with design thinking with our teachers and collective efficacy with our teachers. So there are a couple of things that we do. We have 2 collaboratives where one is the Computer Science Collaborative and the other one is a Teachers Guild Collaborative. And we see teachers from different areas within our district coming together, creating new and amazing change in their learning spaces. And it starts very small with maybe just a team of teachers who come together for the first time with some common idea. And then this is diffused back throughout the district as these teachers go back into their environments and work with their students in their own learning spaces. So that's kind of our overall concept of collective efficacy.
Wow, it's really great to kind of think about how those all kind of fit together when you're trying to dive into something as complicated or kind of as detailed. Excellent.
Yeah.
Whew. And so I'm just kind of thinking about that answer kind of a lot of stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about design thinking, there's so many elements to it, and that's why we like it. That's why we embrace it, and that's why it works so well for us, because it isn't just 5 little steps. It's so much more and so much more powerful.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you all.